Page blocks is another big addition on SaasRock 0.8. I have an open source version for this called Remix Page Blocks, which you can check out on my GitHub profile. But this is front-end only. And of course, on SaasRock is 10 times more powerful. Let me show you. So by default, we don't have any override on the default pages. Let me show you. If we go to the landing page, here, this is our default landing page, but we can toggle edit mode like this, edit mode to true, and it will show on each component a few options like let's edit the hero. And here we set a new headline, a new subheadline, some top text or bottom text, and even those texts can have links, like the top text go to pricing, so this will redirect to pricing. And each component or block can be of different types. We have banner, header, hero, logo clouds, and more. There are about 15, I think. So this is just this doesn't update real time. This is for you to iterate your design. Once you're happy, you can download the current configuration, and it will return a JSON file with all the blocks. But we don't want that yet. I want to show you we can override this from the dashboard or the admin portal itself. So let's go ahead and create all the default blocks or pages. So we have the landing page, pricing, contact, blog, a blog post, newsletter, changelog, and docs. So not all of these listen to the page blocks. For example, changelog and docs still is custom page that doesn't listen to page blocks. But all of these do. For example, if we go to blocks on the landing page, it will load the default. And let's change the headline here, sample, and we can save this. And if we refresh the landing page, it will load from the database the blocks now. But if you want to not call the database, you could also download these blocks like this, copy all these blocks, and go to the default landing page file and replace all this array. So we have a default landing page, a default pricing page, default blog post page, and a default footer, header, which you can modify. And about the page services, as you can see, if we don't have any page blocks, it will load the default ones. And this applies as well for SEO meta tags. Like this is the default for SaasRock, but you can go here and customize all the custom design and behavior within your landing page or front pages. And this applies for socials as well. And one final thing before moving into how blocks are structured, let's take a look at the settings. By default, the default pages are published and public. This means that if it's published, it will appear to all users, and if it's public, it will appear to unauthenticated users as well. But let's untoggle those and go to the landing page. As you can see, it says page not found. But if we publish it, but we keep it only for authenticated users, if we refresh the landing page, well, let's open this on a new incognito tab. It will not let me view the landing page because it requires the user to be authenticated. So You can do this for all the default pages like pricing, contact, blog, a blog post. Let's do that for the changelog, for example. Let's make it to app users only and go to changelog. And let's log in. And now we can see the changelog. But the changelog is public, so it doesn't make sense. So when will it make sense? If you want to create a new page, for example, let's say that you want to show the newsletter blog. But since we already have one newsletter page, let's call this -2. And let's add a header, a heading, the newsletter, and finally, I cannot, well, let's add the footer here, and then move it to the bottom. So if we save this and go to that page, well, we cannot preview. First, we need to enable them. Then we can preview. So here's our new page, but we don't want that for public users. So this page will not be visible in incognito because we're not logged in. And this newsletter works. This will connect to our CRM feature. So this form will call whether we have a ConvertKit environment variable or a CRM entity for contacts, companies, and submissions. And in this case, a newsletter subscriber. So this is how page blocks work. And let me show you one final thing. For the blog page, we have the default. Let's take a look at how it looks. The default blog page loads a header, a heading, and the default blog posts blog. This purpose is to also be able to load blog posts from another page, like for example, on the pricing page. The default only shows the pricing plans and prices, but let's say that we want blog posts at the bottom. So if we go to our pricing page, blogs, and here we add a new blog called blog posts and save this. Now our pricing will also have blog posts. And one final thing, the blog post ID, let's take a look at how it looks. It will display the data based on the parameter like this. As you can see, the variable of the slug, the blog post slug, can be manual, can be of the param, ID1 or ID2, or can be on the query. Like, let me show you what I mean. Let's create a new page called my blog post. And this is a sub page. Well, not here. We will override manually my blog post. So let's create that page and let's add a header and a blog post blog. But this blog post will be of manual. The slug will be, let's grab an existing slug like this one. And paste it here. So let's save this and publish it and preview. So this is loading a manual blog post, as you saw, but the default behavior is that this URL listens to the parameter ID1. On the code, it looks like this. Page. We have two pages, the parent, like this, or the one that listens to an ID. In this case, ID1. It will load the page blocks, and it will show the page blocks. And since we have a default page block page, this one, the default blog post page, this default blog post loads the slug like this from the param ID1. So this opens a bunch of possibilities, like, I don't know, showing custom entity row here and override the behavior, like, I don't know, like contacts. And this page load all the contacts. And if we go one level deep, like ID1, contacts and the ID like this, it will load a specific entity. But I have not completed entity blocks. All the blocks that are ready, you can view them here. Heading, banner, header, footer, hero, logo clouds, gallery, video, community, testimonials, features, FAQ, newsletter, pricing, blog post, and blog post. But in the future, this will have a ton of new components. I imagine like 50 components long term. Notifications along with onboarding were two of the most requested features on SaasRock 0.8. So let me talk about how it works. I'm using Novu as the open source notification infrastructure because it integrates with a lot of providers like Twilio, Slack, Mailgun, Postmark, and more. And you will need to just create your account and go on the environment variables and set the API key and your application ID. Once you have done that, you will have this bell button here where you can see all your notifications. And this channels page lets you know if you have already set the default channels. On the core, we have admin accounts for accounts created when a user profile is updated, subscription created, canceled, roles assigned, and my rows. On the enterprise edition of SaasRock, we have a few more, like API keys created, emails received, groups, crewed, linked accounts, account members, and finally onboarding. Oh, and admin rows. But let's go to the core. Here, it's in red because if you see my dashboard in Novu, I have not created any notification template. So if we want to receive, whenever an account is created, a notification, we need to go on Novu and create this channel or template. Let's paste the name here. And on the workflow editor, we can drag this in-app notification template and edit. And here, if your notification makes sense to redirect to somewhere, you can use the action URL, which is sent by code here on the accounts event service. As you can see, I'm sending the notification to roles on this channel with this URL and this message, account created, and the name. And here we can pass the message, which is this one. So once you have done that, we can refresh and see that it's no longer in red. So we can test this by sending. And here, as you can see, I have received a notification sample. This is a test message on this channel. So let's create a new tenant on /app new account. Let's call this test 10. And we can close this. Well, I received the notification because I'm the admin user, but this is because I'm the super admin. And here we can see that account created and the name. if you want to receive admin notifications for each one of these, you will need to create this channel, and also if you want your end users to receive, for example, whenever a role is assigned in their account, because this one goes to the super user, which is the owner of the tenant, you will need to create this channel. And my rows is a type of notification that doesn't send to specific roles. This is sent like this. Let me show you. Let's search my rows. And here you can see that it's been sent on the rows edit. Here, whenever a row is updated, we send to the user that created the row. And by the way, if the user is the same as the one that created the row, it will not be sent unless you're on local development mode. This is because the user doesn't receive a notification that is redundant. So this is one type of notification that you set manually the user. The other type, which is this one, we have roles. Let's go to the notification channel file. Here I have all the channels and roles array. As you can see on the admin accounts channel, I send these events to the super admin, but you can also notify, for example, default admin roles, developers, or marketing department, or a product designer, and so on. Or if you don't want to receive any notifications, you will need to delete this or not create the channel. Simple as that. So these messages basically calls Novu API, REST API. I didn't find a way to sort by descending. So let's go to pagination and show 100 rows and go to the last one. And here you can see that I have, well, actually, I have 3 messages. This is because I have reset the database more than once, meaning that I'm using the user ID to set the subscriber on Novu. So every time I reset the database, I will have a new subscriber. But it shouldn't be a problem in production. Here we can click and see the payload where we have this message and this URL. And that's basically it. You can see all your subscribers. This is also using the REST API from Novu. And an overview, a quick overview of how many subscribers you have in terms of notifications, how many messages they have sent each other, and one integration, meaning that on my dashboard, I have postmark active. So if I want to send myself an email using postmark, I will just drag and drop and use the Novu notification templates. So here, account created, and on the editor, I can use a variable like message. So I will receive exactly this message, but via email, but you can also use Twilio or something else. That's basically it. And yeah, I tried to create the channels via the Novu API, but somehow I couldn't find a way. So maybe in the future, but you can manually set for each of the notification channels, which makes sense because you want to customize your notifications for your use case. But I have these admin notifications just so you can see how it works. And by the way, Novu allows you and your users to go to the bell, because this model is using the Novu default, how is it called, notification model? I don't remember, but you can go here and go to settings and turn off specific notifications. So if this subscriber, which is me, disables that, I will not receive from this channel. As you can see, I did not receive. But if we send another test, but turn it on, I have already received it. So this is basically notifications. Onboarding is also a big addition to SaasRock 0.8. Let's see how it works. Here we have an onboarding page where we can create a new onboarding. Let's call this Getting Started. And here we have the title, steps, and filters. When steps and filters are set, we can activate the onboarding. First, let's go to the steps. And the style, I'm currently working with only modal, but in the future, there will be like full page onboarding or dashboard onboarding. Let's see how it works. Here we have steps where we can add a new step, like step 1. And here we can set markdown, like title 1, text, some items, like item 1, item 2, and an icon. Let's go to the bicycle icon and copy the SVG and paste it here. And we can have links, like link 1, that is primary, and link 2, that is not primary, and maybe target to a new tab. And we can also add gallery items like images or videos. Here we can, let's go to the SaasRock page and grab this image and paste it here. Add another one, and this will be of type video. Let's search for a video. Loom, share, the page block builder. But this, I think, should be embed. So paste it here. And finally, we can have inputs like first name and options, with options of option 1, option 2. So before saving, we can preview. And this is our step 1, where we can have the markdown, links, gallery, like this, and the inputs. And if we have more steps, we can go to the next step or go back or complete. But this doesn't work on the server. For that, we need to save this. But this step doesn't make sense. So for that, I have these sample steps where we have welcome, filters, steps. This is basically onboarding for onboarding, if you know what I mean. So here I explain what the onboarding is capable of, like filters, steps, links, images and videos, inputs, activity. Well, this input is required, activity, and a final screen. So we can save these steps. And the next step for the onboarding to be activated is to go to filters. And here we have a default, which is targeting us, because we don't want to accidentally activate an onboarding for all users that is not complete. But once you're sure what you want to do, let me explain real quick. The admin portal filter basically means that it will load only admin users that are on the admin portal. Here we have 2 admin users, so it will target these 2 users. And for the user, we have ability to select a specific user language, to select whether it's English or Spanish, to create custom onboarding. User first name not set, user last name not set, user avatar not set. User role contains this. For example, we want to target only marketing department, or we want to not target marketing department. And this tenant portal is for targeting only on the application side, like /app. And let's see how it looks on tenant portal. These are all the candidates, which basically are our users, our customers. And let's see, tenant is allows you to select a specific tenant for onboarding them. Tenant has one member, has many members, has a specific subscription product. I have not created my pricing plans, but it will show here. Whether the tenant subscription is active or inactive, or has used the API or not used, or has created a specific entity like employees, or has not created a specific entity. So let's target only tenant users. So these are the candidates. I have two options here. Save these manual sessions for these users, or make this real time. But if you make it real time, every page load, it will check the filters. So be careful, because if, for example, you have tenant subscription active, it will every time load whether the subscription is active or not. So that's the purpose of real time. But I want to make it real time. So let's go ahead and look at the sessions. I don't have any session yet because I have not activated this onboarding, but let's do that. Activate onboarding. And let's go to the application side. So as you can see, it shows the onboarding. We can click outside and we can click here to get back on the onboarding like this, or every time we refresh, it will appear. I can dismiss this onboarding, but this is also customizable. We can set the onboarding to be not dismissible. But let's go ahead and go to each step. Go to next, next, and you can see we're on the step number 3. So on the admin side, on the onboarding sessions, we have 6 activities for this session, where the matching filters were tenant portal. The onboarding started at this time. I completed the first step. I saw the second step. I completed the second step, and I saw the third step. Let's complete the onboarding to see how it looks. Go to next, next. Well, let's try to view in my profile. As you can see, it redirected me to the profile by clicking on this link. And next, some images and videos. And if we click on next, it will not let us because first name is required. So we cannot go, we cannot escape this anymore. So if it's required, be careful because it will lock your users. Every time it loads the page, if the input is required, it will not let them advance. So let's go ahead and set my name and Twitter. So we can go to next, next, and complete. So on the admin side, on the onboarding sessions, we have this session that is completed by this user, where we have all these activities because we clicked. Well, we didn't click this many times, so I need to fix that. But we completed the onboarding right here at this time. And as you can see, I have set my first name here, my last name, and where did I hear about SaasRock? From Twitter. So we can, if we delete this session, it will recreate it for that user because the filters are real time. So as you can see, it restarts the onboarding session for that. So I think that's it for the onboarding feature. Of course, there will be bugs like the one I show you on the click. I will fix that in a second before releasing, but let me see if I showed you everything. If we have an active onboarding, we cannot update the states, the steps, or the filters because it doesn't make sense. So first we will need to deactivate the onboarding, and then we can update it or even delete it.